Here we are at question 11 of the second section, the first logical reasoning section of LSAT PrepTest 157 over at lawhub.lsac.org. As always, if we haven't already, we're going to select a highlight tool and engage the question stem first to identify the task and mark it with that tool for clear reference. Which one of the following, if true, most helps to resolve the apparent discrepancy between the results of the study and the stated facts about wounds, bacteria, infection, and healing? So we're going to highlight everything from resolve through the end of the subject matter that is part of the discrepancy. So we know that ultimately what's going to function as the de facto conclusion is the results of the study. So we're going to read the paragraph on the left and ultimately highlight the results of that study as our de facto conclusion that we need to find an answer choice to justify or resolve the discrepancy and explain how those results could have occurred. So, starting at the top, wounds become infected because the break in the skin allows bacteria to enter. Infection slows healing. Often, bacteria killing ointment is applied to wounds after they have been cleaned. But a study at a Nigerian hospital found that cleaned wounds that were treated with honey, which contains significant quantities of bacteria, healed faster on average than both cleaned wounds treated with antibiotic ointment and wounds cleaned but not otherwise treated. So, the results from the study come at the end here, and we're going to highlight them in full because we want to have a broad mental prediction of we need to get an answer choice that explains why honey was better than this bacteria killing ointment and was better than the wounds that were not treated at all. So we need to address both sides, show why honey is better than both the antibiotic and cleaning without either the antibiotic or the honey. So starting with choice A, wounds that have simply been cleaned with soap and water and not otherwise treated heal faster than wounds that have been cleaned and then treated with antibiotic ointment. Well, this cleaning with soap and water and not otherwise treated has nothing at all to do with the honey, so hopefully we can eliminate choice A almost immediately. Next, we go to choice B. The bacteria found in honey are present in much lower concentrations than the concentrations of bacteria typically present in infected wounds. Okay, so this just tells us that there's much less bacteria in honey than in the wounds themselves. And applying antibiotic ointment to a wound rarely, if ever, kills all of the bacteria infecting the wound. Well, the antibiotic ointment just has to be good in order for it to work. It doesn't necessarily have to kill all of the bacteria. And this answer choice doesn't directly compare the utility of the antibiotic ointment to the honey directly. So choice B really doesn't do anything to address the paradox directly either way. So we'll scroll down now knowing that choice A and B have been eliminated. Now looking at choice C, honey has properties that inhibit the growth of bacteria in wounds. Okay, well, this is part of the issue we had predicted. We needed to show why honey was good, and choice C does that. Then, including the bacteria the honey contains. Okay, so honey is going to not only inhibit the growth of bacteria in the wound, but also in the honey itself. So we know that honey across the board is good against bacteria, which is part of what we need to explain the results of this study. And antibiotic ointments damage sensitive wound tissue, which slows healing. So now we've got both sides of the coin. We know why the honey is better than the antibiotic ointment and why it's better than nothing. So choice C does address both parts of this discrepancy and should come across as our correct answer at this point when we break it down. Next, choice D, the high concentration of sugar in honey inhibits the growth of bacteria in wounds, including the bacteria contained in the honey itself. Well, this does half of the issue. It shows us why honey is good. But unlike choice C, it doesn't show why the antibiotic ointment wouldn't work as well. So choice D only addresses half of the paradox, so we can eliminate it for not addressing the ointment half of the results from that study. And then lastly, choice E, the antibiotic ointment used in the study damages sensitive tissue in wounds. Okay, so we've got why the antibiotic ointment is bad, and that slows healing. But honey does not have this effect if the wound has been cleaned. But this doesn't say that honey is good. So this basically is the flip of choice D. It shows why the antibiotic ointment isn't as good at healing, but the honey, it doesn't explain why the honey would be better than not treating the wounds at all with either the honey or the antibiotic ointment. So again, it only addresses one half of the discrepancy, and choice C is the only option that addresses both parts to resolve that apparent discrepancy or paradox presented in question 11.